Most successful people, when it comes down to it, they say, like, what's the secret to your success? I move faster than everyone else. This is Mindset by Natalia, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be explaining to you, why is it that people all over the world, all over the globe, sometimes gain the exact same type of inspiration? Why does divine inspiration struck so many people at the same time, even if they have no relation? They don't know each other, they come from different backgrounds, they come from different cultures, yet for some reason, why does divine inspiration hit humanity all at the same time? Divine inspiration wants to be realized. This is the main thing when it comes to divine inspiration. Divine inspiration, think of it as like the little seeds that the universe gives us, and think of the universe as throwing them down on earth. When you plant a tree, when you're planting a tree, what do you think the likelihood of is if you only plant one seed? That seed, it might grow, it might not survive past a certain point. That's why normally when we spread seeds, we spread a bunch of them all out on the field, right? That way we ensure at least we're gonna get something out of it. At least some flowers are gonna grow, at least some vegetables will be able to be produced this season. That's why as people that farm and work on the land, we know, like, you need to send multiple seeds in order for the likelihood of something happening to actually realize. So this is the exact same way. When the universe sends us these little seeds, they send it all across the world. And this is what we call divine inspiration. This is when, I'm sure any kind of creative person knows, it's when you just get that thought bubble. Like, that thought just comes into your mind and you're just like, this is the best idea I've ever had. It could be the idea to write a certain book. It could be the idea to create a new app, to create a new application, to create a new kind of software. Anything that requires divine creation, this is what I'm talking about. And we hear this with so many stories, like the biggest authors in the world, the biggest people, we hear of these stories of them. Like, they just somehow divinely get inspired to write it. Think of, for example, J.K. Rowling, the author, the creator of the Harry Potter universe, known like globally, billionaire, you know, like everyone across the world knows at least something about Harry Potter or has at least heard of it. And when did her divine inspiration come? She says that it came when she was like on a trip on the way to, I don't know, somewhere in the UK. She was taking a train and she was on the train and the whole concept of the idea, it came to her. It just flowed in. And I'm sure that you've had those moments too. That's because divine inspiration wants to be executed. God and the universe want to make sure that they're bringing ideas into the earth, and they want to make sure that people are realizing them. It's like, again, they send all kinds of different people the ideas so that at least they can ensure themselves that at least one will carry through. At least one will publish the book. At least one will do everything it takes to get that app created. That's why these things happen. Only a few people will execute. This is what I'm saying. The whole globe will gain divine inspiration at times. And we see this historically even with things like mathematics or science. Someone from one side of the world was doing the exact same research at the time that someone at the other side of the world was doing it. And they had no communication. And some people nowadays think, you're stealing this idea, I had it first. But that's the thing, the ideas that we get into our brains and into our minds are not solely for you. You are something, you're like the tool that the universe is using to make this execution come into reality. Your thought that's been created by the universe, been created by God and something bigger than yourself. This is not just hitting you, but maybe you are the person that is gonna be the one to execute it. And this is what I mean by, again, just like all those little seeds are spread, some of the seeds will not grow. They'll give up. They'll say it's too hard. They'll get inspired by something else. They'll move on. That's why we get so many different seeds, so many seeds that God is planting, because he knows at least one of them will come into fruition. And for whatever reason, we need what we need at the time that we need it. Think about the science and data and mathematics that have come into the world, the astronomy, like all of these things. Everything that's come into the world has happened because it needed to happen at that time. Therefore, people got divinely inspired to create formulas, to research different things, to think about things in a new age concept. And that's how we get the evolution of the world, how we keep evolving and growing as a species. Not only like physical state, like evolution, but also in general, like the big picture of who we are as humans, our purpose here, what we're doing to actually create life, to enhance the things that we already have, to enhance our consciousness, which is what everything is about. Here are some stories I wanted to share with you about stories that I've heard of people feeling like they had their inspiration robbed from them. So if you've heard of the book, also became later a movie with Julia Roberts, the book Eat, Pray, Love, became an astounding book, like super bestseller, global book. And if you haven't watched the movie or read it, I'm not going to spoil anything, but pretty much this woman travels to these different countries in search of the different things. The eat, praying, and the love. So she goes through it, whatever. The person that actually wrote this book, this is an actual like nonfiction book. It's a story about her life, the things that took place, like where her marriage was, how she like cultivated a new life, how she had new experiences. And she says that while like she published the book, everyone started reading it, started coming out. She started getting so many messages from random people she had never met, being like, I can't believe you did this. This was my exact story. This is exactly what happened to me. I've been through this. This is literally my life written down on pages. And some of them were just sharing it to be like, this is incredible. How is it that we both had the same experience? But other people were criticizing her and being like, hey, you stole my idea. This is ridiculous. I'm going to sue you, and like all this dramatic stuff. But in reality, it's not that one person only ever has one experience. We all have multiple experiences that overlap. And that's why I always come back to the fact that we are one. Everything together is one. We're all intermixed in ways that we cannot even conceptualize. But this is what I'm saying. No one is stealing ideas. No one is doing these things. Like, people have their own stories, but we don't see that sometimes they overlap because God just wants that story to be pushed out into the world. So again, he's going to put all the seeds down to see which one's going to actually come into fruition. And sometimes you do get multiple people that do something. Same when you're creating an app. You can find, you've been creating this app, let's say for 2 years, and you're trying to get sponsors for it, whatever. And all of a sudden, someone else pops up that has the exact same concept, the exact same idea. They've already published the app. And, you know, maybe there's like a few tweaks here and there that makes it a little bit different from yours. But overall, you're like, wait, this is bad. Like, how am I going to make my product look like it's the only one? Again, divine inspiration hits all kinds of people at different times. And this is why I always say the most important thing when you gain divine inspiration is to execute it. If you want to create something, you need to execute it in the moment that you feel it. Like, obviously you're not going to write a book in one afternoon. But for example, there's people like, for example, maybe you've heard that story that's been going around online lately about Michael Jackson and how one day he woke up in the middle of the night. He called his producers and everyone. He's like, I have the most divine inspiration for a song that I know is going to be like the top selling hit. We need to get to the studio right now and we need to go film this. And everyone's like, this is ridiculous. Like, can we do it at the morning? Like, we can do this at 8 a.m. He's like, no, because if we wait until morning, Prince will already have made it. He will already have gained the divine inspiration and will have been guided to create the song, and he will, like, it'll be his name that he gets the credit that he wrote that song. Obviously, Michael Jackson didn't know this for sure, but think about that too. The fact that he knew so deeply in his mind that he needed to execute divine inspiration when it came to him, that he was like, I am not waiting to wait around for anyone because I know that God is planting the seed in the universe. It's up to us to see who wants to actually execute it. And that's the magic of how we got one of the most popular Michael Jackson songs ever. I think it was Thriller, if I'm not confused. I'm not sure, but it was literally one of Michael Jackson's top songs. It is your time to act fast. The faster that you can act, the faster that you can ensure yourself that whatever you're creating is going to come in and you are going to get the credit for it. Most successful people, when it comes down to it, they say, like, what's the secret to your success? I move faster than everyone else. By the time that people have gained an idea about, again, let's go with the idea of an app. By the time that people have gained the inspiration to do it, I have already trialed it. I've already asked for donors. I've already done research behind it. I've already started it. I've already, like, added software engineers to my team, whatever it might be, I'm already creating it by the time that people are thinking about starting. It's divine inspiration when you just are able to like quiet down your mind, comes at an instance. And when you get in the flow of it, you've probably also realized the more that you get used to this like divine inspiration and you execute it and you start acting on it, it just flows to you. And I've been feeling like this in the last couple days, if not weeks, where I'm like, I feel so divinely inspired that I have lists and lists of things that just come to my mind. Things I want to make a video about, things I want to post on social media, things I want to make reels about. And when I think about it, like I need to start pushing out all of that content because I'm being called to do so. By the time that I'm thinking about it, someone else is already pressing the publish button. You know what I mean? That's why it's important to act fast. Act and don't worry about perfection. This is something that gets everyone stuck, especially people that are very perfectionist. Like they need to do something perfectly. If not, they would rather not do it at all. Exactly the same with people that have black and white thinking. It can only be black, it can only be white. Actually, most things are somewhere in the middle of the gray. Time to just start acting. The more that you're able to act again, the more that you'll maybe fail more, but the likelihood of you succeeding is also going to like come up way more. Again, if you fail 10 times, that 11th time, you're probably going to succeed. But if you try to do something one time and you fail at it, and you live in that residual, just, I failed it, I'm not going to do it anymore, I just give up, like you're never going to get anywhere in your life. You're never going to, like, it feels so uncomfortable for you to be in that failure state when all that is, it's like a moment when you're about to be pushed off into the next thing. Focus on your creation. And I think a big thing with this too is to detach from it. When you're able to detach from the things that you create, oh my goodness, the things that will come into your life are extraordinary. Because if you don't have attachment to something that you've created, you recognize the fact that the universe has given you this body, this vessel, this lifetime to produce something, but it's not yours. You don't come into this world with anything, and you will not leave anything when you leave this world. And anything that you quote unquote have in your life, whether it's material things or relationships, anything that you have in your life is not yours. I think that's like such a big thing about humans, like our inability to detach sometimes and be so like attached. We hear all these different religions and everyone talk about the importance of detaching your mind because it gives you clarity, because you realize that nothing is yours and you are nothing's. Like it's just the simplicity of your being here, and you're here to grow and change and evolve and next. You know what I mean? So don't get attached. Don't focus on the attachment of these things and just get it out there. Stop worrying about your perfection. It doesn't matter as long as you do it, you know? Like, again, let's say I have 10 videos, the first 10 videos that I had, and I used to use a different mic. And I go back and I sometimes look at those videos and I'm like, oh, like, I don't really like how that audio sounds, you know? Now I have a microphone that I like, that I use, and it's so much better. But I never would have realized that, like, if I hadn't gone back to look at it. But that created what I have now. It created the evolution of a process. And I think that people respect that a lot more than you give them credit for. A lot of times we're like, no, like people just like the end result. Like no one wants to put in time or effort anymore. Do you believe that? Because I look at people that I can see their past and I can see where they are now. And I'm like, I have so much more respect for you because I see where you came from. And I see how much you worked on your mindset, on shifting your habits, on all these things, that I appreciate the fact that you did things even when you weren't ready. That takes so much courage, and the confidence that that gives you literally gives you, it's like a rocket ship. You are able to now boost away from the earth because you have that confidence of doing things over and over again. Even though you may fail, even though whatever, it's always upwards. Everything that you do in your life is always going to go up, no matter what. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching today's video. I love talking about this divine inspiration stuff. I see you, I am here for you, and I cannot wait to continue to see your growth. Show me what you got. Show me that divine inspiration that the universe has shown you. Thank you.